everyone, welcome, good afternoon to part 2 of Animation Basics with Scratch. And if you didn't know, this is a part of a program series, which is actually part of Computer Science Education Week, which happens every year in December. I'm gonna let Tanisha talk a little bit more about that. Let me just go ahead and introduce everyone. My name is Amanda, and I am here with...
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tanisha.
And we're with the Tampa Hillsborough County Public Library. This, as I mentioned, is about animation basics with Scratch. So you're going to learn how to do Scratch coding in this program. If you did miss part 1 of our series, I do want to remind everyone that you can find that it's going to be posted on our library YouTube channel, Tampa Hills Lib. You can just search that right in the YouTube search bar, or you can go to our calendar events at hcplc.org/events. Scroll to the bottom, and then when it says pre-recorded content, that will take you right to our library YouTube page. Tanisha, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you, but I will be back for the Q&A.
All right, thank you so much, Amanda. So we're going to go ahead and jump into things because we got some really exciting things to learn with Animation Basics with Scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera so we can dive right into it. So, as Amanda mentioned before, this program is part of Computer Science Education Week. It's a really cool initiative that happens every year in December that is geared towards K through 12 students to advocate for computer science education. As we know, computer science is something that is very, very important in today's world, especially nowadays with how much we're online, how much we're using technology to get our basic tasks done. So it's a really cool initiative, and they like to celebrate it by doing a ton of computer science related programs and things like that. One of the partners of Computer Science Education Week is Hour of Code. So code.org, super easy to remember. They have so many different computer science activities for school-age students. So that's kindergarten all the way up until high school. So really fun activities. Some of them can take you a few minutes. Some of them are more complex projects that can take you a few hours, and everything in between. So if you want to learn a little bit more about coding, a little bit more about computer science, I highly recommend that you check out that website. And as we like to do with our library programs, we got to give you a library resource to look up if you would like to learn a little bit more about computer science and coding. So this was a really fun book I found on one of our ebook platforms, Hoopla. It is an infographics about computers. So it's really cool information, facts about computers through time. So when they first started up until nowadays, it's just a really cool snapshot of how awesome computers and computer science is. So I highly recommend you check it out. One of the things I like about Hoopla is that all of the items are instantly available. So you can check it out at any time. So now that we've talked a little bit about that, it is time for us to jump into our project. So I am going to do a very, very quick recap of what we've learned so far from our last one. So remember, there is a part 1. It will be available on our YouTube channel if you didn't catch it. So definitely go ahead and take a look at that if you want to see how we made the hen and the chick walk. So we're going to take a very, very quick look at how we did that. So we have our code here for how we made, and we have our hen selected right now. So remember, with your sprite, you got to make sure that your sprite is selected. So right now we're looking at our hen, and let's go ahead and run the code so we can see what we did. So with our hen friend here, we have them walking across the ground. So looking at us and walking. So I'm going to stop that, and we're going to do that again. So right now we coded and animated our hen to walk. I'm going to go ahead and stop that real quick. So if you look at the blocks here, we had the hen move 15 steps. We switched the costume so that it's walking, looking at us, all of those different elements there to make our hen look like it's walking. And then this little piece here is we want our hen to go back to square 1 when we start the line of code. A couple of blocks to keep in mind is that forever block. What that forever block does is it makes sure that this line of code is running the whole time we are running the program, that we're running our line of code there. So you put the forever block on there, that means that that'll repeat forever until we stop it. So until we press the stop sign, the forever block will make sure that we're running, that the code is running. So we have our move block. This is the blue block here. So Pretty self-explanatory. That just makes sure that we move our hen 15 steps. The switch costume, we talked a little bit about costumes. I'm going to go to the costume page here, are the different looks for your hen. So to make it look like it's walking, we have these different costumes, and those are the 3 costumes that we use together to make our hen look like it's actually walking. So now we did a quick recap of that, of the hen. Let's do a quick recap of the chick. With the chick, this line of code is going to look very familiar. The big difference here is that instead of us just having the chick start to walk when we press the green flag, we have the chick walking when we press the space key. So that's our starter block there, our event block. When the space key is pressed, our hen walks. So you may remember from last time, if we want our hen to walk towards the left, we have to add in that negative symbol, have it move negative 10 steps. To the left is negative, to the right is positive. So the line of code looks very similar. We have it moving negative 10 steps, switching the costume, waiting a second so it actually looks like it's walking. We have our hen doing that. Now, to speed our hen up a little bit, I am going to change the move to 15. I'm going to change the weight to 0.5. That's just going to make our chick walk a little bit faster. So let's go ahead and test that out. There we go. So we have our hen walk, our chick walking a little bit faster. So now we left you on a cliffhanger last week because we wanted to include a muffin in our story. I'm going to go ahead and restart this just so we can reset our friends here. So we wanted to add the muffin. So I did give a little sneak peek and said, you know, we're going to have our muffin, we're going to have our chicken or hen eat the muffin. So that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to have our hen and our chick walk to the muffin and take a bite out of it. So let's start with our chick. And let's get the chick to take a bite out of the muffin. So I'm going to go back to our chick. We're going to drag out, going back to our event blocks, a green flag. So keep in mind, we already have the code there that's going to tell our hen to walk. So what we want to do now is have our chick take a bite when it gets to the muffin. So to do that, we're going to drag out a green flag clicked block. That means that when we press the green flag as a recap, then it'll start this line of code. So we got our green flag block out. Now we're going to go to our control blocks. Quick recap, those are the ones that control what the code does. We're going to introduce you to a new block. If then. So before we get to our if then block, we're going to add our forever block. As you guys remember before, the forever block makes sure that this code is continuously running. So if then, so some of you guys, some of our older guys out there may have already been working with if then statements in school. What that means is if this, then that. So if we do one thing, then this other thing will happen. So what we want to happen is we want, when the chick gets to the muffin, we want it to take a bite. So let's go ahead and code that. So we're going to go to our sensing blocks. And what our sensing blocks are the one of the things that will kick off this line of code. So we want the chick to take a bite when it touches the muffin. So this first block, touching, we're going to change that from mouse pointer to muffin. So if the chick is touching the muffin, we want it to take a bite. So let's take a look at our chick's costumes. So we're already using chick A and chick B for walking. So chick C looks like that's going to be the right one because it's going to kind of bend down and it's going to be like it's taking a bite. So let's jump back to our code. and we are going to choose switch costume to chick C. So let's go ahead and try it out and see what happens. And first thing I'm going to do, because I just noticed our hen is starting to walk, is I'm just going to go ahead and take this code off for here for a minute, just so we can see what happens with the chick. So let's go back to our green flag. So remember, with our chick, we're pressing the space key. So I'm pressing the space key and bam. So when it got to the muffin, it bent down like it was taking a bite. So let's go ahead and recap. Let's take a look at that again. So I'm going to press the green flag. Because we have the green flag here, that means I got to press it even though we're moving the chick with the space key. So moving the space key, and it bends down when it touches, like takes a little bite when it touches the muffin. So let's take a look at our line of code here that did that. So when we press the green flag, and you guys may be wondering, well, why did she have the forever block? Why does that need to be there? Remember, the forever block is put there. We want to make sure that a certain line of code is running the entire length of our animation. So we have to have the forever block there because at any point of the animation, that chick is going to touch the muffin. So we want to make sure that that's running the entire time. So if the chick is touching the muffin, then we're going to switch costume to chick C, which is the one where it looks like it's taking a bite. So putting this all together, we're pressing the space key. Just one more time. Took a bite. All right, so that is one way that we can manipulate our animation, get our chick or get our animation going, get our things to do what we want them to do. So that's one way you can get somebody to take a bite out of that muffin. So another way, we got our hen sitting to the side there. Hen's probably getting a little hungry too. So we're going to go ahead and have the hen take a bite of the muffin too. Now, one thing you may have noticed is, okay, yeah, the chick touched the muffin and it bent down, but it doesn't exactly look like it's eating the muffin. So let's click on our muffin. Keep in mind, we haven't coded anything with the muffin yet, so it's just kind of hanging out here. So remember, the costumes are different looks that we have so that we can make our animations look like they're actually happening. So you'll notice here with muffin B that it takes a bite. So we want that to show up. So we're going to have that happen with our hen. So let's go to the muffin. And actually, our hen and our muffin are going to work together. So we're going to introduce you to some new blocks here. So I'm going to want to add this back on. And let's go ahead and introduce you to some new blocks. So we're going to have that green flag. That's our friend kicking everything off. We're going to have our forever block because we want to make sure that line of code is running the entire time. We got to have that if then, like we talked about before. So if this, then that. So much like we did with the chick, when we're going to go to our sensing blocks, when the hen is touching the muffin, now this is going to be a new block for you. We're going to add the broadcast block. So what is the broadcast block? So guess the question is, what is a broadcast? Some of you guys may be younger, you may not be familiar with that term, but a broadcast is like sending out something, like broadcasting something, like sending out a message. Broadcasting is sending out a message. So we need to broadcast a message to the muffin. So the hen needs to broadcast a message to the muffin. So our message to the muffin is going to be bite, because we want to take a bite out of the muffin. So if the hen is touching the muffin, then the hen will broadcast bite. So let's go ahead and go to the muffin because we've told the muffin to broadcast byte. So let's go to the muffin. So like I said, when you're broadcasting something, you're sending out a message. So something has to receive that message. So the muffin is going to receive that message. So under our IfThen blocks, we're going to drag out when I receive byte. And going back to those looks, we are going to switch to muffin B. So let's see where we're at so far. So I'm going to go ahead and press the green flag. Okay, so we're almost there. So you notice, let me run that again. You may have noticed that it took the byte out. You can't see it now because now that's there. Now the byte mark is still there. So we got to add a couple of more things so that that byte mark goes away when we restart the line of code. So let's go ahead and add that in real quick. So let's add in our green flag, switch costume to A. So let's go ahead and test that out real quick. So now the hen touches the muffin, it does the little bite mark. Let's stop it. Now it goes back to normal when we start the code over again. So let's go ahead and finish some stuff out because you may have noticed some other things too. You may have noticed the hen keeps moving after it takes the bite, but it may want to stay there a minute and keep eating. So we're going to code it so that the hen stops. And also, it didn't really actually take a bite out of it. So we're also going to code that too. So it never bent down or anything. The bite mark just appeared. So let's go ahead and code that as well. So let's go back to our hen. So let's play around with our looks again. So let's switch costume to hen. And let's stop this line of code when it takes a bite. So 2 new blocks here. We got a switch costume and we have a stop block. It's going to stop this line of code. So let's run it. Let's see what happens. And I might have made a small mistake there. So one of the fun things about coding is troubleshooting in real time. So let's see what we can do to get this line to run the way we'd like it. So let's see what happens here. So we see here that we got it to take the bite, but now he just keeps on walking and we don't want that to happen. So let's stop. Let's put that back. Let's try that again. There we go. Let's see what happens now. So we're going to run that again. And there you go. So it would take a little bit of playing around with to get it to take the bite exactly where we want. It may take us making our muffin a little bit smaller, which you can do. If you look here at size, you are able to change the size of your items. So we're going to do that with the muffin. So we're going to take the size down to 100. Let's take it down to 75, make it a little bit smaller. Let's run that line of code again. And you'll see, so it's getting a little bit better. We're going to go ahead and leave that there. And let's recap real quick what we did with our hen friend here. So we told the hen when it's touching the muffin to broadcast bite to the muffin. That broadcast is telling the muffin to switch costume to muffin B, which makes it look like it had a bite taken out of it. So let's switch back to the hen. So if touching the muffin, if the hen is touching the muffin, broadcast bite, not only is it going to broadcast bite, but it's going to switch costume to hen D, which remember, it's the one where the hen is bending down, and it's going to stop that code because now the hen's going to be there and it's going to want to eat. So run that one more time so we can see that again. And there you go. So that is a very, very, very simple animation that you can do with Scratch. Now, there are all sorts of things that you can do and play around with to expand it. You can add other sprites. You can make your hen fly. I don't think hens fly, but you could if you wanted to. You can make your hen fly. You could also run these two lines of code together. So remember, I'm going to start it over again. And I can have them walking to the muffin at the same time. So I can have them walking there in the same time. I'm pressing the space key. I have my chick walking to there, having, it takes a bite when it gets there, so you can have your scripts running at the same time. What I did there, you may have noticed with the stop, is I stopped all the other scripts in this sprite. So everything that had to do with the hen, I had stop run, because before I had stop all, but when you have stop all, that means that it'll stop everything in this animation, including the muffin, the chick, it'll stop everything. So we want to just stop things that are happening with the hen. And so there you go. So it's a very, very simple animation, but it is still an animation. So let's see, we got a couple more. Let's see what else we can do, because we got a few more minutes before we have to go here. So let's see if there's anything else fun we'd like to do. Let's see, maybe I want our hen to peck at the muffin here for a minute. So let's see if I can make that happen. Let's see, let me take out a weight block. Let me take out a switch costume block. Let's see what happens there. Still kind of did it. Not great. But you can see there's other things that you can do to manipulate your code and to get it to do other really fun things. So I'm just going to go ahead and take that out so we can do one last recap of our code. So I'm going to press the green flag, press the space key, and have our hen and our chick walking to eat the muffin. And bam. So let's go ahead and wrap things up here. Amanda, I'm going to welcome you back on just to see if there are any questions, and we'll go ahead and close out for the evening.
Sounds good.
All right, and we just learned a little bit about the basics of animation. So a lot of you guys may be familiar with other really, really awesome, like there's tons of really, really good animation out there. Anybody that watches Disney Plus or Pixar knows that. But remember, you can start with everybody who does all of those big budget things. Everybody who does all of those big animation things started with something simple. And Scratch is one of those things that you can start with that is super simple and super easy to learn. So you can start animating now.
Very cool. Very cool. Yes, and it's fun. It looks like fun. I always like seeing the different examples we come up with for the animations, the different ones. Okay. Well, Tanisha, we do have just one question, and I know in the past we've done coding, and we have different kind of tools and games we can do for that. A lot of times, and coding is a very important part of computer science, but people are kind of confused. What else falls under that umbrella? What are some different avenues or things that are part of computer science other than coding? Like, for example, graphic design is sometimes part of it, depending on how you do your design. What are some other things, Tanisha, that people might want to learn about?
So you can get into some of the like what I call job ready stuff. So like graphic design, that's a really good example. Coding is also, adjacent to like gaming, game design, script writing, because now when you're writing a game, it's not only coding that game, you're script writing. So you're getting more into the scene stuff. But really, computer science starts when you're young, when you're really young. So there's the concept of computational thinking. And computational thinking is just breaking bigger problems into smaller problems. It's problem solving. So preschoolers can learn computational thinking. You can do screenless coding where they're just doing small little problem solving things. So there are a lot of different things out there that are computer science related that aren't like just coding or graphic design or doing something on a computer. So there's all these different avenues, and computer science isn't just good for like learning like engineering or something like that, but it does teach you other valuable skills that can be used in other fields.
Very cool. A lot of good transferable skills. And as you've pointed out in the past, Tanisha, too, coding does not necessarily only take place on the computer. You can do coding you can do it in a very physical, manual way. You can do it for all different ages. So there's a lot of good, which is back to that computational thinking, which I think is great. Well, that was our only question for this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and let you wrap it up and give them our contact information.
All right, thank you so much, Amanda. So of course, if you need to contact us for any reason, you can contact us by phone, email, text, chat, however you want to get a hold of us, you are able to do so. Also, if you'd like to check out our program and events calendar, you may do so with the link there to events. We have a lot of really fun stuff going on to close out the year and the beginning of next year. Definitely recommend you take a look at that. And of course, the link to the website that we're using today. Scratch is a wonderful website. It's free, it's web-based. So if you want to play around with coding, if you want to play around with animation, if you want to play around with gaming, it's a really wonderful site to just learn those foundations. So highly recommend that. And with that, Amanda, I think we are good to go. So we'll go ahead and close everything out. It was a pleasure doing some coding with you, and we will see you guys next time. Bye now.
Bye.